whether it's in your home space or your head space, I think we don't realize how much clutter in our visual space affects our head space. But it takes time and energy to manage it, and simplifying really makes room for the things that we want to do and want to spend our time and energy on. So that's my one message, is now is a great time.
So hi, Kara. Today we are talking to you about your company, More Breathing Room. I am so excited to talk to you about this because I work with so many clients who just don't know where to start, whether they're moving or if they're staying or anything. So I just really look forward to hearing more about your company. So thanks for joining us, Kara. And just tell us a little bit about your business and how you guys are operating right now with everything going on.
Thanks so much. I'm so happy to join you. I am a professional organizer. I started my business, More Breathing Room, to really help people simplify their lives and create space or breathing room to pursue what really matters to them. As an organizer, I guide individuals through a process to help them clear away the things that feel cluttered, to manage or simplify habits or routines, to move into their next space feeling organized with a fresh start. Or just to intentionally incorporate values into their home, which is particularly helpful for families that are trying to figure out how to do everything they want to do and struggling how to do it. Many people struggle to organize on their own. It's not uncommon. They often, start a project but then don't complete it or aren't able to maintain the system, and it just leads to frustration. A lot of people will start by just running out and buying a bunch of organizational products and feeling like they aren't understanding why that doesn't get them where they want to go. And so I often say that organization tools and products are, they don't necessarily affect ineffective systems, or they don't fix ineffective systems. And what a professional organizer can do is really start first with what's the system that needs to be addressed. One, for your particular space, how the space functions for your particular needs, but also, a system that you can maintain that's based on how your brain functions and how you like to work, or incorporates the people in your family and how they like to work, so that you are able to maintain it easily throughout the long term. And hiring a professional organizer often speeds up the process of getting something organized, and also, helps reduce the stress a little bit in the process. And I will say we spend a lot of time and money actually being disorganized. There's a great study that I like to cite that shows that getting rid of clutter can eliminate 40% of household work in the average American home, which I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend that 40% of my time on household work. I'd rather spend less on that and more on what I really want to pursue and do in my life. The other statistic I like is that $2.7 billion a year is spent by Americans just replacing misplaced possessions, like things they already own. They just keep buying more things. They can't find the one thing. We don't need to spend that money.
Absolutely. I can relate to so much of that. And I saw your blog, that the post you had of, I bought bins, now what? And I feel like I experienced that. Like, I spent all this money to get organized, and what do I do now? So that's really neat what you provide. How have y'all adapted to the new norm now with like the CDC protocols and everything going on?
Sure. Immediately I started to adapt to offer virtual organizing sessions, and I still do those for those clients that don't want anyone in their home. And I'll keep doing those, maybe indefinitely, but at least through the end of the year. But then for in-person sessions, I've been very careful to always wear a mask, always wash my hands on arrival and when I leave, to wipe down things. And the biggest thing is I limit clients to one per day for right now. So I'm not carrying things from one family to another, and just being careful about coming home and things like that. So I'm just very cautious about those things. My husband's a scientist, so we're always science-based in our house.
Nice.
But there are some type of projects where I can work in intermediary stages of the process without someone present. Things like helping people move into a new space organized, getting things all prepped and ready for their stuff to be unloaded into drawers and closets and things like that. Also working with families to develop habits and routines. I can do that. virtually, or do some work on my own at home and come back to the family and sort of implement some new processes. So those are things that I can do sort of in different varying levels of contact with other people. However, mostly I've been helping people deal with the things that are making their home frustrating or difficult to deal with in this situation. We're all home a lot more.
Yes.
Our homes can be a sanctuary for us. They can be a great source of calm. And while we're home, why not spend some of that time being productive and clearing away clutter and implementing some systems that will make life easier. We've all had to adapt to new ways of life and find things that work and don't work in our homes. Now more than ever, we sort of need that sanctuary with space to find our calm.
Very true, very true. So do you service the whole Metro Atlanta area?
I do. I serve residential, and I do work with some small business clients, both in town and near town Atlanta. If it's more on the fringes of Atlanta, sometimes I have to charge a trip charge just to cover my costs for travel time. But while there's an initial phone call that's free, and I talk to clients at that time about where they are and what would be involved in working with them.
Okay, great. And you touched on earlier your habits and routine service. I think that's so cool. I'd love to hear more about that. But first, tell me, what's your most requested service? Because you've got the space organization and the moving as well.
Yeah, a lot of people are space organization is sort of their most requested service. But I think right now a lot of people are moving. And so hiring a professional organizer is it's a great strategic idea for someone who's moving. It's the one, it can be a very stressful process to move, but it's also a very unique opportunity to take stock of your belongings. You sort of touch everything as you pack it away and unpack it. And it's just a unique opportunity to simplify, so there's less stuff to manage, and make a fresh start in your home. Like I help clients declutter their home before selling to sort of emphasize the impact of their space. I can help clients downsize before they pack, so they only move what they want to keep, and then all the other stuff. I can help plan furniture layout and storage solutions for their new home. And then also just donating items that you no longer need to charities that align with your values. That can be helpful just to figure out, what do I do with this stuff that I no longer want. And then the other service that I'm sort of focused on personally is, it's a great time to develop habits and routines, like we talked about, for avoiding the everyday hang-ups. I have 3 kids of my own, and holding virtual school with 2 working parents last spring was a little tough. A lot of adapting that needed to happen in our household, and I'm already thinking ahead to what the fall might look like, and the unique situations that may occur, especially for families, and what systems that we can develop that might help with less stress and frustration at home. The best thing I learned as a parent early on was that, and particularly as a mother, that I don't need to hold all the cards for making the household run smoothly, that I can teach my kids how to pitch in and help in appropriate ways, and I can communicate with my spouse effectively so that we're trading cards back and forth. And all of that has been good for myself, for my marriage, and for my kids to learn those life skills that are important for them to learn too. So
that's great. I tell you, I work with a lot of clients who it's almost, clients and friends, when they're moving, it's almost, your mood can settle to such a low level because it's so overwhelming. And so I feel like now I have you to be a resource for someone who's really struggling with, it's just, the whole world is turned upside down when you're moving. So I know my clients, I'll be referring you for the moving piece. And the other pieces, I'm already like, how can I put Kara in my own personal life? So tell me one of your most unusual projects that you've had.
I did have a call recently that someone called an initial call asking me if I provided deep breathing services or deep breathing classes. And I said, no, that's not my trade. We could all use that, but that's not what I do. But really, every project that I enter into is unique, because every client I work with and their situation and the way that organizing works for them, it's all unique. Me, organizing is like solving a puzzle. trying to match the strategies and techniques that I found to work to the personalities and brain function preferences of the people that I'm working with. And so that problem solving, it creates unusual projects all the time.
That's cool. Gotcha. Well, so even though everyone is unique, can you give us just an idea of what a typical project might be and how much the cost might be for a typical
Yeah,
session?
that's again, I know it's everyone. I'm going to give you the same answer because everyone is unique. Especially in organizing, it's not like any other home service where you can get an estimate of this is what it's going to take to do this project, because each space is unique, each person's life is unique, but also I never know what's inside all the things.
Mhm.
Or so it depends on the number of belongings in the space, the size of the space, the desired goals that the client has. Everyone has a different idea of what done looks like, and I don't know that until we work through the process a little bit more, and also like how easy the client can make decisions. Some people take a long time to make decisions, and sometimes people can make those really quickly, and all of that plays into how much time it takes to go through the process. But what I do is I start each project with an assessment, and we set up a plan of what we can do, and then the client with sort of a rough estimate of each time for each space that the client wants done, and then I work with the client to complete the projects based on the financial resources they want to dedicate to it, and give them homework if they want less of my time to be paid for, and or if they just want it done and they want me to do it all, we work through that. It's sort of the preference of the client. So the cost of all services is just based on the time that they want to use me for. It's kind of like a therapy session in that, you pay for some time. But each service and price has, I have packages available that save a little bit of money, or you can just pay as you go if you want a lot of flexibility. The one thing I'll say is, unlike any other, I said this already, but unlike any other home service that you have done in your home, organizing is about decision making, which takes various amounts of time for each individual.
Sure. Okay. And how can people best find you or contact you?
And the best place to start is my website. I put a lot of resources on there to sort of give information about what the process looks like and how I work. I have blogs and pictures about other projects that I've done, so you get a sense of how I work with clients. And those that are interested in services can complete an online form, a very brief online form, and that will shoot an email to me, and I'll contact them right away. My website is morebreathingroom.com. It's really easy to find.
Okay, morebreathingroom.com. Great.
And I did my social media from there if you want.
Great. Okay. And I found a lot of great. I printed off your 3 kind of summaries of your packages and all. It's really easy to follow, and that's great. Now, who would you nominate for our next community spotlight?
I thought about this. I know a lot of great small businesses, but one that I know that's sort of in that area is Brian Gockel of Brian Gockel Productions. He's a videographer doing both traditional and aerial videography.
Okay.
His tagline is finding beauty in what you do and capturing it in a visually stunning way. And he really does that. He's a great tool for small businesses, especially who want to sort of tell their story and give clients a sense of what services might look like before actually contracting the service. He's a really great storyteller and uses visual imagery to tell that, along with the words that are spoken in the video as well. But so I would nominate him. I think he's a great resource for any small business that's trying to market and get the word out about what they do and what their passion is.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks so much, Kara, for your time today. And in closing, what's the one thing you'd want our viewers to know?
The one thing is, now is a great time to organize. Clutter, whether it's in your home space or your head space, I think we don't realize how much clutter in our visual space affects our head space. But it takes time and energy to manage it, and simplifying really makes room for the things that we want to do and want to spend our time and energy on. So that's my one message, is now is a great time.
Yeah, you just made me think of a quote I've been hearing a lot lately. It's like, when you feel out of control, find something you can control and control the heck out of it. And it seems like you can help us figure out how to do that, how to get some semblance of control in our home, even though there's so much going on and so much uncertainty right now. So
Yeah.
thank you again.
Thanks so much. It's so nice to meet you. Thanks for doing this for the community. It's a great way for people to get to know small businesses in the community.